One of the things I'm literate in is crocheting. My mother taught me the basic steps when I was a little girl. From there, I taught myself using books and the internet. Mostly, I make things like hats and scarves and blankets, little things. Before I begin a project, I turn a skein of yarn that I'm working from into a ball. It may sound like a waste of time, but actually, it makes the work go by a lot faster and there's less risk of knots and tangles and messing up the yarn. So it's really easier. This particular scarf I made using two different strands of yarn. It turns out to be a pretty neat effect. To use this technique, I have to hold both strands together as one and work them with the hook at the same time. And it provides a nice little pattern that you can't get using one thing of yarn. Speaking of hook, there are some examples of crochet hooks I use. The large hook is for loose projects and the small hook is for more tightly woven projects. Something I do with really small hooks is make doilies. Nobody really does this anymore, but I think it's important to preserve dying arts before they're lost forever. I taught myself. They can be very intricate patterns, and they're a fun way to pass the time. Another thing I'm literate in is music. I learned to play the flute in 6th grade. At first I had a really old instrument, but in high school my parents bought me this model. As you can see, it's a little bit fancier. It has a gold-plated mouthpiece, and it has open-holed keys, which provides better tone quality and makes the instrument more difficult to play, so that's something I had to learn. To play flute, I had to learn to read music. It's like learning a foreign language in a lot of ways. It has its own terminology, its own set of rules. And I rarely play flute nowadays, but I still use music every day in my life. Take voice lessons once a week, and I incorporate singing into my third area of literacy, which is acting. So this is the Valborg Theater. Do a lot of my acting work here. I started acting in high school, and like music, acting has its own set of rules and vocabulary. This is the green room, where actors sort of stay on standby before we go on stage. One of the best things about acting is getting to see my friends at rehearsals. Here's a bunch of them looking over lines before rehearsal for the production we're in now. We've been working really hard on it for several weeks now. So that's going to be great. Here's some posters of shows I've been in at ASU. And last but not least, everyone should come out and see Bat Boy the Musical April 18th through the 22nd.